We give financial advice to people who cannot afford traditional financial advice. And we no longer use Haskell. We do no longer use Haskell. That is essentially because I realized I do not share the values of the Haskell community. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, this is not a question of ethics or morals. I'm not saying you are bad people. Okay? What I mean is that I do not share what is valued in the Haskell community. So by that I mean, what is valued, what counts as a good job? Somebody shows you a project, and what makes you go, this is great code? What makes you go, no, this is not good, right? In a company, that means essentially who gets promoted. What kind of work do we value in a company? And in this sense, I learned this meaning of the word from reading an essay called Managing Oneself by Peter Drucker. Peter Drucker is one of the founders of modern management. And I highly recommend this essay. It's not long. And he wants you to think about what are your values and what are the values of the company you're working in, and what is the consequence when there's a misalignment and all of the unhappy things that can happen. Okay, so let's talk about some of the values in the Haskell community. And you may recognize some of these, you may disagree, but I will put some up. So I'll say that in Haskell we value a high level of abstraction. And the language enables that. I'd say we value precisely typed programs, precisely typed inputs, outputs. And in particular, that is so we can prevent runtime crashes. Okay. In addition, we prefer not having any mutable state. Of course, we know that sometimes you need mutable state. That's why we have the IO monad, the ST monad, what's the other one? The software transaction thing. But given two solutions, one with mutable state, one without, we would value the one more that has no mutable state. Okay, and I think we also value loose coupling. And this is something you hear a lot. Decoupled modules or decoupled solutions, decoupled software. And we value extensible code. That is code that you can essentially extend, that has some kind of a plug-in mechanism that you can extend without modifying it. Now, this is not unique to Haskell. So those last two in particular are common in the object-oriented communities as well. So in the object-oriented code, they have these 5 principles that are abbreviated to SOLID. Many of you probably know about that. And so this is the open-close principle. That's the O in SOLID. And it says essentially you should not modify code once you've written it. And this is, I think this is both the I and the D in SOLID. I don't really understand. I don't agree with SOLID either, right? So those are also not my values. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to put some different values that I realize now are my values. Okay. So the first point is that the only thing that really matters is delivering a useful product, right? That if you don't have that, if you don't have something that delivers something useful for the end user, then none of this matters, right? And if you don't have that, focusing on any of this is just a distraction and a waste of time. And if you have that, if you have a useful product, and if you don't have any of this, well, you can monetize and you can hire some clever people who know how to do all of this, and they can either just modify your code or they can rewrite the product, right? So if you know how to build a useful product, that is the most difficult thing, and that is really the only thing that matters. Now, I think most people know that, and I think most people agree with that, but I think sometimes we just need to repeat it. Secondly, I just don't agree that a high level of abstraction is good. Given two code bases, if one is really simple and if one is abstract, this simple one is just better. right? That is my value, right? Sometimes you need to introduce an abstraction, but that is a necessary evil, right? So I value simpler code. Now, that's not a silver bullet, right? So that doesn't dictate every choice, right? So we can argue sometimes there's a tension between conceptual simplicity and a brevity. But then we're having a discussion about what is simple code, and that is a good discussion. Okay, so it is a value, not a prescriptive solution. Look, as I'm clowning around in JavaScript and Python, I miss types, right? I do, right? And they're great, right? But I will say that they have a diminishing return. The more effort you put into making your statements more and more precise, the more work it is. And just, look, sometimes we spend so long preventing ourselves from shooting ourselves in the foot that we end up with a damp squib, okay? You end up not having a tool at all. And you know, that's not good. And look, runtime crashes are just not the end of the world, right? What's more important is that you know about it and that you report that. And in particular, I think provably not having a program that crashes is of course good if you can do it, but sometimes that's not worth it. And it's better to see when a program crashes if you're in a situation where you can do that. And look, mutable state is all right. It's fine. There's some algorithms you just are just more clearly expressed using imperative code and mutation, right? So Philip Wadler said a long time ago when he introduced monads to the functional community, he said, sometimes in functional programming, the plumbing is painfully obvious, right? So he went off and introduced monads, and that solved that problem. But a year ago, I had this problem where the plumbing was painfully obvious, and I didn't have time to go and invent my equivalent of monads. So I switched to C++, right? And it's fine, right? It's OK. It's not mutable state, and it's not the root of all evil, right? And I think in particular, across software engineering, I really don't believe in this decoupling, right? Sometimes you need to decouple code. But if you don't, then simpler, concrete code that just does what it says and that sometimes is a bit coupled is actually better because there's just less ceremony about it, right? You just sort of go and do the simplest thing that works. And then sometimes later you need to go and decouple it. But decoupled code is not better. Simple code is better. Concrete code is better. And look, if you need to extend your program, it's OK to go and modify it, right? It's OK to go and add a couple of cases to your algebraic data types. I think that's fine. But there's a lot to be said about this, OK? So first of all, there are just different standards. And these are not bad values. These are good values. In particular, look, this doesn't work. Modifying your code doesn't work in an open source library. If I'm relying on a library, then I can't just go and modify that if I need it to do something else. So then it needs to be extensible, right? So I think there are different standards. There's a different standard for people who are building open source libraries and people who are building application code. So, and I also want to emphasize that I think you can do Haskell over on the right. I don't think you need, in fact, I think Tim's code that he just showed us was is perfect. And you know, a great example of great Haskell code. And it felt to me like it felt it was on the left. And you know, that looked like a pleasure to work with. OK, so these aren't bad values. Sometimes you need one set of values. Sometimes you need another set. Depends on where you are in the life cycle of the company. And you know, you just need to be aware of what is valued, right? What is valued in your company at this stage, and figure out how to move along. OK, so there are, however, some values that I do think we need to talk about that are problematic, not just in the Haskell community, in every community, but that are also present in the Haskell community. For instance, that might be expressed as everything should be written in Haskell, right? I think we've all been there. I think I've definitely been there. Everything's better if it's written in Haskell, right? If two projects one is written in Haskell, one is not, and you go for the one in Haskell. It's better, right? And if it's not written in Haskell, it must be crap, right? And if it's not functional, then it must be crap, right? So if something is written in some other language, it's crap. So I think this is a good instance of something that's called contempt culture, expressed in a great blog post by Oren Shaw, who is a New Zealand developer software engineer. She has this blog post where she outlines this, and she outlines recognizing this in herself, this what she calls contempt culture. So the language she worked in was blessed because it was obviously better than PHP. Other languages sucked, and the people using them were losers. I'm criticizing this language and implying people using it weren't as good. They just weren't good programmers because they used these languages. That gave her an elevated sense of self-worth and a feeling of elitism. So she bought this sense of belonging with contempt for other languages. And she just ended up not being any fun being around, which is a broader problem in technology. So you know what? I recognize this in myself. I have definitely done this, right? And I just think it's not really a good idea, right? She draws some interesting conclusions. So first of all, we ignore achievements and we focus exclusively on how we got there, right? And that's just self-defeating. Right? You should celebrate achievements, and it doesn't really matter how you got there. And she draws this interesting conclusion that ends up excluding people from minority backgrounds because they do not feel safe talking about their achievements, which may have been done in the wrong language, or they may have been using the wrong monad. And so she concludes that she was participating in the exclusion of women. She realizes this, horrified. Do I recognize that? No, of course not. I'm blind as a bat. I'm a white, straight male from an affluent background. I've been programming since I was 13. But do I believe her? Yes, absolutely, that people can experience this. OK, so finally, nice quote from Zed Shaw. I don't agree with everything he said, but I agree with this. Look, it doesn't really matter what programming language you use. What matters is what you do with it, right? That's really the end goal. And look, PHP runs 70% of the internet. That's an awesome achievement, right? Python has enabled deep learning, right? That's awesome. So try and do interesting things. I want to just make a final point. Sorry, that doesn't mean we can't do language evangelization. Doesn't mean we can't be enthusiastic about Haskell. You know, it's great to be enthusiastic. There's so much enthusiasm in this community, and that's awesome. But just try and be a little bit grown up about it and not be contemptuous about people because of the languages that they use. Some sources that I recommend. Thank you.